Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mastering English with Podcasts. Today we have a super exciting topic that many of you have been asking about. Can you really improve your English fluency in just 5 months? Now, before we jump in, let me ask Ricky and all of you listening, what do you think? Can fluency be achieved in such a short time?
That's a great question, Raizel. I think a lot of people believe it's not possible. But is that really true? Is it just a myth?
Exactly. I think that's where we should start today, debunking that myth. So, let's dive into it. Can you really become fluent in English in 5 months? And by fluent, I mean being able to comfortably have conversations, express yourself without hesitation, and understand others well.
Well, to answer your first question, fluency doesn't always mean perfection. You don't have to know every single word or speak without ever making a mistake. Fluency means being able to communicate your thoughts and ideas smoothly, and that can definitely be achieved in 5 months with the right plan and dedication.
Totally agree. So, for all of you listening who might be wondering if it's possible, the answer is yes. But it requires consistent practice, smart planning, and the right strategies. And that's exactly what we're going to break down for you today. We're going to explain how you can improve your English fluency in 5 months, step by step.
The first step is setting clear and achievable goals. You need to know what level of fluency you're aiming for. Are you preparing for a job interview? Do you want to improve your conversation skills? Or are you just looking to feel more confident while traveling? Setting these specific goals will help you stay focused.
And it's important to keep your goals realistic. Saying, I want to sound like a native speaker in 5 months might be a bit too ambitious. But aiming to have fluent everyday conversations, that's doable.
Definitely. And once you have your goals, break them down into smaller tasks. For example, week 1 can be focused on learning key vocabulary for everyday conversation. Week 2 might be about practicing those words with a language partner or even by yourself. Breaking your goals into bite-sized pieces makes them much more manageable.
Step 2 is immersion. Now, when we say immersion, it doesn't mean you have to travel to an English-speaking country, though that would help. Immersion means surrounding yourself with the language as much as possible. You should be listening to English, speaking it, reading it, and even thinking in it every day.
That's right. A great way to immerse yourself is by listening to podcasts like this one, watching TV shows, reading articles or books, or even using language learning apps. It's all about consistently exposing yourself to English in different ways.
And here's a little hack. Set your phone's language to English. It's a simple change, but it forces you to think and read in English every day.
The third step is the most crucial. Speak English every single day. Now, I know this is where a lot of learners get stuck. It can feel intimidating to speak a new language, especially if you're worried about making mistakes.
But here's the thing. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes are actually your best friend when it comes to language learning. The more you practice speaking, the more comfortable you'll get. And if you don't have someone to practice with, talk to yourself. Use a mirror, record your voice, or even describe things around you out loud.
Another option is to find a language partner. There are plenty of apps that can connect you with native speakers or other learners who want to practice English. You can do short conversations every day. It doesn't have to be formal. Just talk about your day, your interests, or even what you had for lunch.
Next, focus on building targeted vocabulary. You don't need to know thousands of words to be fluent. What you need is the right words. Think about the kind of conversations you'll likely have in English. If you're working, focus on business English. If you're traveling, learn common phrases related to travel.
Right. You can start by learning the 1,000 most common words in English. These words make up about 85% of the language you'll encounter in everyday conversations. There are lists of these words online, and you can even break them down by theme, like food, work, or social situations.
Exactly. Once you have your core vocabulary, practice using them in sentences. It's one thing to know a word, but fluency comes from being able to use that word naturally in conversation.
Step 5 is improving your listening and pronunciation skills. Listening is just as important as speaking when it comes to fluency. You need to train your ear to understand different accents, speeds, and contexts.
A great way to practice listening is by watching English videos or listening to podcasts without subtitles, at least on the second or third try. At first, it might seem hard, but with time, your brain will start recognizing more words and phrases.
And don't forget about pronunciation. Even if you have a great vocabulary, if your pronunciation is off, it might be hard for people to understand you. There are plenty of online resources to help with this. Watch videos that break down how to pronounce certain sounds or mimic native speakers.
Let's talk about planning. To reach fluency in 5 months, you need to practice daily, but not just random practice. You need a structured plan. We recommend dedicating at least 1 to 2 hours every day to English learning. You could split this time between speaking, listening, reading, and vocabulary exercises.
One thing that really helps is setting a routine. For example, you could start your day with 30 minutes of listening practice during breakfast, then spend 15 minutes reviewing vocabulary on your commute. In the evening, you could practice speaking with a language partner or even read out loud.
Another key to success is consistency. Learning a language is like building a muscle. You have to work on it regularly to see progress. And the best way to stay motivated is to track your progress.
Absolutely. You could keep a journal where you write down new words or phrases you've learned, or record your voice weekly to hear how your speaking improves over time. Seeing your progress will keep you going.
And it's important to celebrate your small successes. If you had a full conversation in English today, without hesitating too much, celebrate that. Each milestone you hit brings you closer to fluency.
Now, let's address some of the challenges you might face when learning English. One common challenge is time. Many of us have busy schedules with work, school, or family responsibilities.
That's true. But even if you have a busy life, you can still fit English learning into your day. Like we said earlier, integrate it into your routine. Listen to podcasts during your commute, or practice speaking while doing household chores.
Another difficulty is motivation. There will be days when you feel like giving up, especially if you don't see immediate results. But remember, fluency doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. Keep your eyes on the goal and remind yourself why you're learning English in the first place.
Before we wrap up, let's share a few quick hacks to help you gain fluency faster. One trick is to talk to yourself in English throughout the day. Describe what you're doing, what you're thinking, or even how you're feeling.
Another trick is to use what we call shadowing. This is where you listen to a native speaker and then try to repeat what they're saying as quickly as possible. It helps with pronunciation and speed.
Another trick is, try to think in English. Instead of translating from your native language, Start thinking in English as much as you can. It sounds hard, but it makes a big difference.
Yes, and another trick is record yourself speaking. This helps you track your progress and spot areas where you need improvement. Also, talk to yourself in English. It sounds silly, but it's a great way to practice speaking when you don't have a partner.
And finally, find ways to make learning fun. Watch movies you enjoy, sing along to English songs, or play language learning games. The more fun you have with English, the more you'll want to practice.
So, to wrap things up, yes, you can definitely improve your fluency in 5 months. It takes a combination of goal setting, daily practice, immersion, and a bit of fun. But if you stick to a plan and stay consistent, you'll be amazed at how much progress you can make.
And remember, it's not about perfection. It's about communication. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and most importantly, enjoy the journey.
We'd love to hear from you. What challenges are you facing in your English learning journey? Do you have any other tips or hacks that have worked for you? Drop your comments below and let's keep the conversation going.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time. Keep learning